Hi everyone, today we're looking at the Marvel Legends Venompool Wave 6-inch Phage action figure. A quick look at the box, you can see the Venom text in front. And onto the top you see the Venom logo. And on the bottom, some product information in various languages. Down the sides you see some artwork of Phage with a screaming action pose. And down the back, photo of the action figure and then the description of Phage over here, plus the other figures in the Venompool Wave. Onto the other side, the reflected artwork again. So let's go ahead and get him open. And now in the box you see the action figure on the tray with the blade accessory and the two Venompool legs. Here's a closer look at the Venompool legs. They're casted in a red plastic with a red fabric pattern all over them. On the outsides of the legs you can see elements of the Deadpool costume. On his right thigh he has an enlarged pouch strapped to it. This pouch also has silver buckles. And moving down to the ankles, he's got some metallic looking boot cuffs. These are just cast in the grey plastic. And onto the boots themselves there are some detail. The toe cap as well as the sole is painted in black. So the leg connects at the thigh cut and that's probably a thigh swivel. There's a double jointed knee, no calf swivel, ankle tilt up as well as down, and some pretty good ankle tilt outwards as well as inwards. The blade accessory is nicely sculpted. It's casted entirely in the black plastic. It's sculpted with the curved and sharp edges of the blade as well as the liquid organic symbiote material running down the sides and the top. And onto the other side, more of the same curved and sharp edges of the blade and the symbiotic material. There's a hit of gold paint on the bottom of the blade, and that's to match the overall color of Phage. The blade can be swapped out with his hands, popping the blade on. There's a subtle difference in tone of the gold paint on the blade compared to the rest of Phage. And of course the blade articulates at the wrist swivel so you can position the blade as you see fit. And of course the blade pops on just fine on his left arm as well. Now a closer look at the figure itself. It's casted entirely in a gold pearlescent plastic. And the body is based on the Bucky cap mold that we're all too familiar in Marvel Legends. Zooming in on the head sculpt, the eyes are sculpted as one piece with black lining painted on the outside. It's kind of hit and miss with the eyes because the white seems neat and clean enough. However, the lining might get a bit sloppy and blur along the edges. So I suppose this varies between copies. I'm not too concerned with it because the symbiotic organic material, I guess it's kind of a liquid in nature. So it's acceptable to think of it as fluid at times on the eyes. I'm actually really impressed with the mouth because they've sculpted some muscle texture on the sides and you can see clearly a tongue on the inside. The teeth are all individually sculpted as well, and that's not something we usually see on a figure of this size. The black lining on the mouth is also well painted. The teeth are given a yellowish white paint and they look okay from the outside. On the insides of the teeth they're actually still painted a pink just like the tongue. Not too big deal for me because when you're looking from the outside he looks okay. And onto the back of his head is just a smooth gold plastic. Moving on to his torso is the usual Bucky cap torso. They've gone and given him some black detailing just to show the symbiotic organic material, and we see that same black down the shoulders. On the back of the torso he's given distinctive black spikes to show an extension of the symbiotic organic structures. This set of spikes is actually removable if you want to. Moving down the arms, you can see he's given some black spikes or blades down the sides of his forearms, sculpted in black plastic to match the black paint for the organic material on his forearm. I believe his hands are also a new sculpt. Given an oversized clawed look down to his hips and his thighs, they're plain enough. On his calves, he has the same spikes or blades, again to match the black. A quick look down the back as well, he's rather plain down his lower torso and the back of his thighs, and then some black paint on the back of his calves. And his feet are, of course, plain enough as well. For articulation, he's got a ball and hinge on the neck, so he goes 360 all around. Good range down as well as up, and just a little bit wiggle side to side. Swivel hinge shoulders, so they go 360 out that far. Swivel at the bicep. Double joint elbows, good range. Swivel at the wrist as well as hinge in and out. When the blade accessory is on, he also has a wrist swivel, so he goes 360 as well. He's got an ab crunch with good range forward as well as backward. Swivel at the waist. Hips move forward and backward that much, as well as a little bit of a sideways split. Upper thigh swivel for 360. Double jointed knees, good range. Calf swivel 360. Good range of ankle down as well as up. And finally, ankle pivot outwards as well as inwards. So with the pretty comprehensive standard Marvel Legends articulation scheme, you can get him into many dynamic poses without much difficulty. So even though the body is pretty basic, with the expressive head sculpt and a very distinct accessory, he looks great in many poses. Size-wise, he stands at 6 3/8 of an inch or about 16.2 centimeters. Size comparisons-wise, here he is with Mezco Stealth Iron Man and Marvel Legends Classic Iron Man. Marvel Legends Spider-Man and Mary Jane, the Monster Venom Wave Venom and Carnage, Carnage, which is the same body mold, with Scream and Leisure, and now seeing all these symbiotes together, I just cannot wait for Hasbro to release Agony and Riot already. With Carnage from the same Venompool wave, as well as the BAF Monster Venom, and finally some G.I. Joe Classified series just for fun. In summary, I think Hasbro has done a decent job with Phage. Although this Marvel Legends body sculpt has been used almost too often over the years, this one works well for Phage. It's got the right size and articulation to pull off symbiote fight poses, and this adds the distinct features for the character on top of the expressive face sculpt. I would have appreciated more accessories like another interchangeable weapon hand to enhance the fun factor. The paint on his body is also kind of plain and there's a bit of sloppy work around his eyes. Anyway, I'm just glad that Hasbro has finally given us one more symbiote team member. Putting them together, I'll say the general plain and simple aesthetics works well for the group. I can't wait for Agony and Riot, and I really hope to complete the team of Venom symbiote offspring soon. Please like and share this video. Let me know in the comments if you think Hasbro is doing it right with the simple sculpt and paint, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Last but not least, shout out to Adrian for hooking me up with this. Thanks for watching, take care and stay healthy.